You will all have 1 minute to deliver an opening address. We will begin with Joe. If you could take this microphone right here, hold it just under your chin, and you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the Attleboro Democratic City Committee, the Sun Chronicle, and Bristol Community College for sponsoring this evening's debate. My name is Joe Lazzerini, and I'm running for Ward 1 City Council. I'm running because I want to give the people of Ward 1 a dependable voice that is going to listen to the issues that are important to our community. As a city councilor, I am going to fight to restore Rescue 2 at the South Attleboro Fire Station when we pull out of this economic recession when funding becomes available. I will be a watchdog for the taxpayers, and I will listen to the concerns of the people of Ward 1 and constantly fight for the people of this district. On November 3rd, I'm asking for your vote to move our ward forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Cherie Felos, if you grab that microphone.
Yeah, you want to watch?
1 minute.
We're falling asleep.
Thank you, Peter. And I'd like to thank the sponsors of this event as well. My name is Cherie Felos, and I'm running for City Council in Ward 1. I bring life experience and education to the table. But before I go on and on about all my education and all my life experience till your eyes roll back in your head, let me just say that I have gotten the most satisfaction in my life when I'm caring for others. Caring for others has been my most important life's work. I consider that the job of being a city councilor for Ward 1 is nothing less than caring about the people in Ward 1. These are hard times. I understand that. I attended law school full-time as a single parent with 5 children. And yet, as many of you also know, hard times don't last. People do. This life experience will help me to serve you on the council as I work with other councilors and the mayor in finding the best solutions for our people in South Attleboro, Ward 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that the people have given a lot already by taking 10 furlough days, and that is a lot to ask. I would like to see department heads get together and see what we can do through talking to department heads. Talk to city workers. It seems to me that nobody should know better other than the city workers and department heads on how we could possibly save more money. I realize there might not be a lot more fat to cut. This may be true, but who better to answer those questions? I would like to see a lot more discussion happen before we actually get to that point.
And Joe?
As a city councilor, I'll actively read over the budget and meet with the local unions in our city to make sure that we can come to a consensus. I want to make sure that we don't cut important jobs in public safety and education. I want to make sure that we keep those positions intact so we can protect the residents of our city.
Thank you. The next question will be asked by Kathy Garganta, and Joe, you will be the first to answer.
In 2010, the census is going to be very important. How do you propose to promote and encourage residents to complete the report, and what challenges will you see from the residents in your area in order to get them to complete the report?
Absolutely. I think that one of the most important things to think about this is when the people from the census are going door to door to fill out the report, that we look at what's important here. We're at stake of losing one of our representatives Congress that represents us here in Massachusetts. I want to make sure that the people in our city understand the effect that the congressmen have on our state to bring back the local aid and the things that our congressman does for the Commonwealth. The census is vitally important in all aspects of our city, and I would like to see the constituents understand the importance of that, and hopefully that will happen over the next year.
Cherie, same question.
I think that it's important that we make sure that people understand that this information is not going to be used against them. I think a lot of times, especially immigrants, assume that this information is going to be somehow made available and used against them by somebody. We need to help people understand this is not so, whether we do that in the way of public service announcements or ads in the newspaper, public service ads. I'm not sure. Those are all good questions. But I think to reassure people, you need to reassure them and let them know, look, this is not information that can legally go to any other branch. to hurt you.
Doug, you have 1 minute.
I think that there needs to be an all-out list to get the information out to the people that don't read the paper.
Very well.
Right.
The next question will be asked by Matt.
What is the biggest issue the city will face in the next 2 years, and what would you do to solve it?
John, you're first.
Candidates have told you some very important things about what we need, what direction we need to be going in. And one of the reasons why we need to go in that direction is because it would help buffer us going through times like this when the state is drowning in red ink, and then we are going to suffer because of it. I have 4 children in the public school system. It's very important to me that we deal with our budget issues in the next few years in a way that doesn't risk the education, yes, and the safety and the health of our citizens. We need to work so closely as a city council with the school committee. We need to work together to solve our problems as a team instead of opposing teams. I think this is all very important as well, because I think long-term planning is very important, and I'm a big supporter of long-term comprehensive planning for our whole city. But in the immediate future, we have serious budget issues to address.
Joe, same question.
I crucially agree with my opponent that finances are going to be the top priority over the next 2 years. We need to make sure that we scrutinize the budget, read the budget line by line, and make the best decisions that are going to work best for our community. I also believe that we need to make sensible land use decisions. And economic development is also crucially important. There are many things that the city is going to deal with over the next 2 years, but the most important thing is accountability on our budget to make sure that our budget decisions affect the people of our community in the right way.
Time for the candidates to ask questions of each other. Joe, you get the first question addressed to your opponent, Cherie.
Ms. Felos, would you vote to narrow the tax classification factor? And if so, why and by how much?
Narrow the tax classification factor. I'm not a tax expert, Joe. I'll be the first to admit that. So I honestly couldn't tell you whether I would or not, and that's an honest answer.
Joe, you have 30 seconds.
I would not vote to narrow the tax classification factor because it would hurt homeowners. It would increase their taxes in a way that is just not acceptable right now. We are in hard economic times, and the residents just can't afford any more burden on their taxes. While some of supporters of narrowing the tax classification factor agree that it would be good for the businesses of our community, the most important things to businesses, the things that are keeping them from moving to our city, are finding adequate locations. That didn't stop the fish processing plant from moving into our industrial park. So I'll end with this. I would not vote to narrow the tax classification factor because I'm not willing to put the burden on the taxpayers right now in these hard times.
Cherie, it's your turn. You get to ask a question of Joe.
Joe, I was wondering if you could tell me, in your opinion, why does Attleboro need the Attleboro Redevelopment Authority?
The Attleboro Redevelopment Authority originally was supposed to act as an independent organization. I think that we need the ARA to keep giving that independent voice. I believe there has been a lot of mismanagement with that organization over the last couple of years, and I'm glad to see that the mayor has finally been able to get it back on track, and we can start really moving some of the economic development projects forward in our community.
You have 30 seconds to respond.
Well, one of the biggest reasons why we need the ARA and we need to get it back on track, we need transparency and we need accountability, is because the ARA is eligible for all sorts of federal grant money that the city of Attleboro as a municipality is not eligible for. That's why we need a functioning ARA.